Title: Beneath the Hoodie. The CEO who went undercover, Malcolm Reese, had built Skybridge Logistics from a dusty two-man operation in a rented garage into one of the largest shipping networks in the state. Over 10 years, he'd hauled boxes, negotiated routes, loaded pallets, and made midnight deliveries to meet impossible deadlines. Now, with a dozen bustling warehouses and nearly 1,000 employees under his belt, Malcolm spent his days in polished offices, attending board meetings and reading managerial reports. But lately, something didn't sit right. Despite growing profits, customer complaints were rising. Delays were more frequent. Damaged packages were spiking. Worst of all, employee turnover had skyrocketed. His regional managers, however, painted a rosy picture. Everything was under control. Malcolm didn't buy it.so. He decided to find out for himself. Disguised as Mark, a new trainee, Malcolm ditched the tailored suits and put on worn jeans, thick-rimmed glasses, and a hoodie pulled low over his face. He shaved off his neatly kept beard and applied for a temp position at the furthest warehouse from HQ, one where no employee had ever seen him in person. The hiring process? Shockingly simple. No training, no background check, a 5-minute rundown and a handheld scanner. Stick with the others and don't screw up. The supervisor, a burly man named Trent, grunted before walking away. What he saw over the next 48 hours would change everything. The warehouse was a mess. Forklifts zipped by without warning, boxes teetered precariously on metal shelves, and the workers looked like they'd aged 5 years for everyone on the job. Among them was a kid named Ethan, early 20s, uniform several sizes too big, dark rings under his eyes. Despite his exhausted appearance, Ethan worked hard, moving with a speed that outpaced his co-workers. During the lunch break, Malcolm sat alone, watching. Most employees brought ramen cups or leftover sandwiches. Ethan had nothing. He stared at the vending machine like it held all his problems and none of the answers. Then, glancing around, he quietly approached a trash bin near the break room. Malcolm's breath caught. Ethan pulled out a half-eaten sandwich. Still wrapped, he unwrapped it gently, inspecting the food like it was gold, then took a slow bite. Malcolm's chest tightened. He walked over quietly. "Hey, you okay?" Ethan froze, mid-chew. I wasn't stealing. It was already thrown out." "You don't have lunch?" Ethan gave a hollow laugh. "Payday's Friday. I just gotta make it till then." "You don't have money for food?" "Not after rent. Not after what I owe." He looked away. "It's fine. I've done worse." Malcolm sat down beside him, stunned. This wasn't laziness. This was survival. Before he could say more, Trent's voice boomed. "Ethan, break's over." The kid shoved the sandwich in his pocket and ran. Malcolm watched him disappear into the chaos. Something was very, very wrong. That afternoon, he saw it firsthand. The supervisors barked orders and hovered like drill sergeants, yet did nothing themselves. At one point, a worker named Miguel dropped a small box. Nothing broke. Still, Trent stormed over. "You serious, Miguel? You think we got time for this?" "Sorry, it slipped. That's coming out of your paycheck." Malcolm stepped forward. "Shouldn't the company cover accidents?" Trent's eyes narrowed. "You got something to say, rookie?" "Just seems harsh." "It was an accident." Trent scoffed. "You break it, you buy it. That's how it works here." Miguel didn't argue. Malcolm saw why. Retaliation hung over them like a blade. Later, Malcolm found Ethan stacking crates. "You okay?" Ethan shrugged. "Same as always. Trent said you had to pay for broken stuff." "That legal?" Ethan snorted. "Of course not. But fight it. You get fewer shifts. Less pay. You figure it out. That happened to you. Last month. Whole pallet fell. Trent said it was my fault. Took half my pay." Malcolm's stomach turned. That night, he stayed late, hiding near the locker room. Trent and another supervisor, Barry, were chatting. "Payroll got cut again," Barry said. "Yeah. Told corporate we had too much OT. They bought it. Suckers just gotta work faster." "You Doc Miguel?" "Hell yeah. Idiot needs to learn." Malcolm's fists clenched. But he wasn't ready to act. Yet. The next day, he asked Ethan, "How bad is it?" Ethan looked around. You really want to know? Yes. They keep us barely afloat. Hours get cut. If you complain, they slash more. And if you're desperate, he lowered his voice. Trent gives loans. Loans. Yeah, out of his own pocket. But interest is insane. You fall behind, your hours vanish. You're stuck. Malcolm's blood ran cold. His warehouse was a front for predatory lending. Enough. That evening, instead of joining the floor, Malcolm entered the supervisor's office. Trent didn't look up. What? Malcolm closed the door. We need to talk. Barry laughed. New guy's got guts. Malcolm removed his glasses. I'm Malcolm Reese. They blinked. Who? He showed his photo on the company's homepage. Trent turned pale. Barry went silent. I've watched you dock pay illegally, intimidate staff, and run a loan racket. You're done. You can't just, I can. And I am. Give me your keys. Trent hesitated. Malcolm didn't flinch. Trent threw the keys. Malcolm pocketed them. Security's on the way. Trent stormed out. Barry followed. Malcolm logged into the system, reviewing employee files. Ethan's payroll history read like a horror story. Docked pay, slashed hours, absurd penalties. He exited the office and found the break room packed. I'm Malcolm Reese. I own this company, he said. The room fell silent. I came here undercover because something felt wrong. And what I found, it's worse than I imagined. He took a breath. Trent and Barry are gone. Effective immediately. Whispers turned into cautious smiles. Unlawful pay deductions. Done. If you had money unfairly taken, you're getting it back. He turned to Ethan. And you. He handed him several bills. Eat. No more trash. Ethan's voice cracked. I don't know what to say. Don't. Just eat. And one last thing, Malcolm added. We're restructuring. New management. New policies. A direct line to report abuse. No more fear. The next morning, he returned. Workers were wary. Promises had been made before. I get it, he told them. But this is real. I'll be working the shifts myself until a new manager is in place. He turned to Miguel. You know this place better than anyone. Help me fix it. Miguel nodded slowly. To Ethan, he said. You still want to be here? Ethan's eyes widened. You're not firing me? Not a chance. Over the next few weeks, Malcolm ran the floor. He adjusted schedules, introduced anonymous complaint boxes, ensured payroll was accurate, and brought in HR staff that actually listened. He fixed broken equipment, restructured shift rotations, and introduced food stipends. Slowly, things changed. Workers talked again, laughed, helped one another. At the end of the first week, Malcolm called a meeting. I've learned more in this warehouse than I ever did in a boardroom, he said. From now on, every executive at Skybridge must spend 1 week per year on the floor. No exceptions. Gasps, then applause. Real applause. Not everyone was happy. ATHQ. Executives balked. Undercover work? Mandatory floor time? You're shaking things up too fast, one protested. Malcolm didn't flinch. If I hadn't, Trent and Barry would still be robbing my people. How many complaints about that warehouse made it to your desk? Silence. Exactly. The system failed. I won't let it happen again. One young exec, Kayla, spoke up. I think it's a great idea. Malcolm smiled. Exactly. He appointed a new warehouse manager, Teresa, a veteran of logistics with a reputation for fairness. She walked the floor, listened, and acted. Productivity rose. Turnover dropped. Customer reviews improved. And one day, Ethan knocked on Malcolm's office door. I just wanted to say thanks, he said. I've never had a boss care before. He paused. I want more than this. Maybe logistics. Management. But the right kind. Malcolm smiled. Let's make that happen. For the first time, Ethan looked like he believed it. And Malcolm knew he was finally the kind of CEO his company deserved.